Hey, what's up guys, John here. Over the last 12 months, we've witnessed massive protests around the world.
Violent protesters rioted in Dublin city centre last night.
In France, protesters have clashed with police, set cars on fire, and vandalized shops, hundreds under arrest.
Israel, fiery protests erupting in the streets tonight.
With the rare exception of that being in America, as of now. However, when we start to connect the dots here, we're walking into what I believe is going to be far worse here in America than almost anywhere else. You have to ask yourself why. Why are we going to be walking into a big problem? Well, look at the funding. Look at where this capital is going. Look at where all of the push is heading for.
Crisis at the U.S. border. Thousands of migrants, families who have made the long journey from as far away as Venezuela.
Early estimates for the cost of this crisis top $200 billion.
It's the West. The West is in very, very, very big trouble, and I'm going to break it down for you clearly with verifiable facts in this video so you can see exactly what's happening to make smart, forward-thinking decisions in advance. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate other people about what's really going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So you can see this map here, all of the different protests that have erupted in the last, call it 11 months, right? All of 2023. You have 400 significant anti-government protests have erupted, apparently, right? 132 countries have experienced significant protests. 23% of significant protests have lasted more than 3 months, and 135 significant economic anti-government protests have occurred since 2017. So you see the ramp up that's been happening. But look at this. We all remember this massive event that happened in France 6 months ago with Nahil, right? This is a very, very interesting narrative that's being kind of spit out. The last 36 months, everything was about divide and conquer. It was about, the color of one's skin. It was about, who one would vote for. Everything was about separating and dividing the people. And so when you look at what's going on here, you have to really ask yourself the big question. We're hearing about all of these, situations with migration, right? And there's a really, really big push. And they're saying, right here, that these facilities to put migrants, right, with tax dollars, and that's why they're protesting, because of the crime is why they are protesting. Here, look at how viral these clips are going, by the way. 1 million views right off the bat. This, 2.3 million views. You have this here, 1.3 million views. Like, this is getting out of control. But you have to ask yourself, if you're looking at what's going on around the world, the cost of food, the cost of living, cost of just basic survival, it's through the roof, right? It's absolutely crazy. If you were in a different country and you could barely survive there, but someone was willing to, give you a few grand a month, or give you $500 a month, or give you some money, give you some type of subsidy, you'd probably consider it if you had no other options, right? And that's what's happening right now. We're seeing migration all over the world. It's not just coming to America. This is happening everywhere. Massive, massive funding, massive migration. And with that is going to be a completely different society. It's going to be a completely different set of standards that are going to be pushed on the people. Living standards pushed on the people. Crime is going to continue to change as people continue to get pushed into a very difficult and vulnerable situation. And so when you look at what's happening here in America, it's very, very fascinating. And this is literally everywhere, right? When you look at what's going on here in America, BBC News, you see that this trend is going to be worse here than just about anywhere else, because America was the land of the free, the home of the brave, the land of opportunity. Is where everyone wanted to always come, right? People would think, hey, I can go there, I can work really, really hard, I can raise my family there, provide them a lot of opportunity. And for many, many, many decades, that's what people did. But now America is no longer a place where people can just come and live easily. It's a very expensive place to live. Even if you live in what they deem as an affordable neighborhood, it's still extremely expensive. And so when you're seeing millions and millions of people trying to come here, you have to ask yourself, how are they going to get funding? Where's that money coming from? And what does this mean for the American people? Well, look at this. This came out, called 3 weeks ago. The 2.5 million encounters of migrants occurred at the U.S.-Mexico border in fiscal year 2023, represents a new historic high, topping the prior year's record, as has been widely noted since the recent of the year-end government statistics, right? 2.5 million, these are just encounters. You have to imagine how many people are here, right? How many people are here? Where's the money coming from? Look at this. This is Politico. The White House also included $1.4 billion for grants to local governments and nonprofits providing services for recently arrived migrants. $1.4 billion. So you have to ask yourself, what does this mean for the American people? Most of the American people, even if you're making $100,000 a year, 5 years ago, that was an incredible, accolade. That's a big milestone for success. People would go to school to say, hey, I make $100,000 a year. Everyone would be impressed at your dinner table. On Thanksgiving, be like, yeah, I make $100,000 a year. Everyone would say, wow, that's so amazing. Now, $8,000 a month if you live in a big city, $3,000 for rent, $800 for a car. You start adding everything up. $100,000 a year now is almost the new middle class, right? And so when you continue to push, society in a direction that's extremely inflationary, when you continue to change our living standards, you have to ask yourself, more and more people are going to continue to demand subsidies, right? This situation that's unfolding right here, $1.4 billion for grants to local governments and nonprofits, you have to ask yourself, is this the end or is this the beginning? I would be betting more on this as the beginning, especially when you look at what's happening in places like New York, for example. New York, look at this budget, by the way, $12 billion. So today, with approximately 10,000 asylum seekers still arriving each month, the city estimates that a mounting crisis will cost taxpayers $12 billion over the next 3 years, right? So $4 billion a year. Think about this. He just announced, Mayor Adams, massive budget cuts, even in schools, where they're saying that parents should be coming to schools to accompany their children because they can't promise safety, right? You have schools, you have police departments, you have street services, you have government jobs. Everything is going to get greatly reduced. And why? Why? Well, because sacrifices are going to be made in living standards. And I've been saying this for quite some time, that America is the one that's going to have the most problems. It's not going to be Europe. It's not going to be any other country. I think it's going to be the West that's going to be walking into the face of this crisis that we're walking into. The Emergency Food and Shelter Program National Board has allocated more than $400 million to support, right? And this is August, so let's just connect the dates here. August, they said this. Then you have Politico saying this came out yesterday, right? So it was $300-something million, and there were $400 million, and then it was including $332.5 million announced in May, right, to 35 entities, and $75 million awarded National Board in December. So as I was just saying, it's increasingly this budget is going to increasingly probably go to, it's right now they're saying $1.4 billion. Wouldn't surprise me to see $2.5 billion, $3 billion, $4 billion, right? I would not surprise me because we're going to continue to see more and more migration. And I don't blame, and like many people want to take a position or a stance on migrants. At the end of the day, it's survival, right? If you are living in South America, or you're living in any other country, and you cannot afford to survive, and someone's dangling a carrot here, is offering, all these promises, it's probably going to look pretty attractive, right? And so you're going to start seeing this from all over the world happening here. You're already seeing it now. And you have to ask yourself, what does this mean for a lot of these cities that are dangling the carrots? I mean, look at all of these cities. California, like a dozen and a half cities. Colorado, another dozen cities. Connecticut, District of Columbia, Georgia, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Jersey, New Mexico, Nevada, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon. I mean, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Virginia. It's the whole country, it seems, right? And so what is this going to mean? We're walking into a completely different America. That's what this means. We're walking into a completely different America, even to the point to where, they're putting, many migrants in national parks. Crazy situation. But I asked myself the big question, what is this going to mean for landlords? What does this mean for property owners? Because as they say, we need to combat inequality. And more people are pushed from that, many people say $100,000 a year, great income, right? A couple of years ago, now $100,000 a year, maybe the new middle class. what does this mean in 2025, right? $100,000 a year might be low income, right? And so the more money that gets pushed out here, the more people that demand government assistance, the more problems will be coming for landlords. Point blank. Big opportunities coming to invest, big opportunities because we're walking into the greatest rug pull in American history. Our entire country, everything that we know about it is going through a massive change, and people need to be prepared for it. Cities are going to be changing. Crime is going to be increasing. And this is going to be unlike anything that we've ever experienced before. What do you think about this? Where do you see all this going? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about it. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. We'd love to give you a free strategy session, see how we can help you fix your credit to position yourself where I think is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history. We're walking into it right now. We're going to see something really, really big 2024, 2025. I believe we're going to see, all the migrants, everything that happened in 2022, 2023, ramp up 5x, 6x, 10x over the next year or two. Massive changes. Drop below, we'll have a conversation, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.